All right, my little buddy here has been drying all night. His stem is sturdier, though when I picked him up, I did get a little break in there, so I didn't quite let him dry completely. And this bottom section still feels a little loose. I can tell it's also not dried completely, but I'm a craft, damn it, so here we go. Let's fire up the clock. And this is all going to be about just getting this stem into final stem configuration. As I believe I might have mentioned before, pumpkin stems are pretty easy. They're just lines that go up and then they out at the bottom. So not too bad. The way I generally tend to toss them onto the project here, come to think of it, I don't need a holder for him. He's pretty well flat. I just like to roll my clay out into a bit of a snake. If my stem is dry and not holding on very well to things, I might just give it a little bit of a tap of smoothing paste. I don't want to push on this too much because, again, it did kind of break on me when I pulled it out, but I'm just going to lay this line right down to the bottom, and I'm going to push the edges more or less flat to the surface. And there's the start of my first little pumpkin ridge. And now, just gonna do another little snaky snake. This still seems a little dry on the side to me, so I'm just gonna give that a quick wetting. If your stuff is sticking, you don't need to do that wetting step at all. But pumpkin stems really are not hugely complicated. So there, got that on there. Now, of course, it's going to be really, really hard for me to push down on that side. So here we go back with our grab yourself a pen or pencil, and you can just push that right on down. And then the other side doesn't have anything obstructing it, so I can use my finger on there. And you're just going to keep going with this process to get your stem striped with a bunch of these little stem lines. We're going to go all the way around. Not too tough. There you go. All right, I've gone around and done most of the spots here. I've got a spot here where it's quite flat and open. I don't want to send a full line up to the top because I think it'll get kind of crowded. So I'm going to make a smaller one. It's only going to go about halfway up or so and vanish. You can do this in any spot where you've just don't quite have the coverage that you like. So I've just got a bunch of lines there. Any spots where you are not happy with the gap, like I wouldn't mind having a more of a bulb out here, because on this pumpkin stem, there's one major groove here, but a lot of these spots have these kind of secondary little bump outs. So to replicate that, I'm just going to make kind of a tiny little ball and then a small thing that goes up that's just going to kind of anchor and reflect that pumpkin look. And we'll push the edges in the tool. Now, if the edges don't go in perfectly, you can try to find something with a little bit more of a rounded end to it. Like this is the bottom of a paintbrush slash silicone folder, but really, really easy to obtain. So much so that I don't mind cheating with it. And the rounded edge will make short work of that inclusion. So there is that little addition right down and in. If you got any spots that you want that, you can add it to it, and I'm going to do just that. So there is my stem. just the main structure, a bunch of side lines. I'm going to hit it now with some smoothing paste just to make sure that it's all good and set down. And I'm going to run my brush just in the same direction as the overall flow of the stemlets.
By flow of the stemlets, I of course mean you run the brush up and down in line with the stemlets. The center parts in the bottoms of the grooves there don't usually need a huge amount of attention as they generally smooth out pretty quick, but the paste will of course smooth out and make sure the cracks that are still in the stem or just being a flaw there get nice and put away for you.
But there is that stem, pretty well smoothed out. It looks pretty pumpkiny. And now I only have to worry about the top. The top is really up to you. You can stop there because this one is absolutely shardified. It looks gross and awful, and that's what pumpkin stems look like. So you can stop there. I like to put a little bit of a cap on my pumpkins for artistic sake. Just like the look of it. But this should be considered very, 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 very optional. And then the other thing I like to do with my cap is just take something and dimple a little bit around there and leave a kind of sticking out central section. And that's how I like to do my tops. And then the very last thing I'll do is hit it with a little smoothing paste to make sure that it doesn't look too funky grody. And again, just keep painting in that same direction as the stem. Can be a little bit tough along the bottom, but most folks will not be looking there anyway. This is the hidden section of the pumpkin. And there we go. I've got a little bit of cracking in there, but I'm probably sure that when I throw a base coat of paint on there, the paint will flow in and solidify it right up. And that is the stem. The only other thing I noticed on this particular pumpkin, and if you have this same issue, you might find that this guy is doing a little bit more of a bendy chomp capacity than I want him to be able to do. This can be an indicator that the pumpkin's just been a little bit too moist for a while. And if you have a pumpkin like this who gets in a spot where there's a lot of moisture later on in its life and water seeps in, then the mouth can start to crunch down and sag. So just to prevent that, and what you can do with just about any pumpkin, and I'll be honest, I've done it on a couple that I'm doing for this tutorial, just go inside, find spots that you'd like to reinforce, and just mush some clay onto the side. Right at the edge of the jaw, right around here on the inside of the pumpkin, and that will somewhat help that sagging capacity. So I'll do a little reinforcement on this and show you what I did for it. Mind you, this guy's pretty thick, so he shouldn't need a whole bunch of reinforcement. And because this is on the inside and it's all going to be relatively smooth, you don't need to worry too much about hitting it with any special smoothing paste. Nobody will notice it. It's going to be in great shape. Just if you're doing this at the same time I am, make sure you don't whack your stem against something else while you're in the middle of a reinforcement job. Yeah, that's because I'm pointing to a different camera for the recording of this one. It's filming for the tutorial. So don't worry, you'll see it in the video. Okay. So right in here on the sides, I've got some extra reinforcing. And right along the bottom, hereabouts, some extra reinforcing. Not too worried about it. This pumpkin is nowhere near as thin as the ones that I did without a shell as examples. I also noticed I got a little crack right there. I'm not a huge fan of. Just throw a quick splatter of clay in to cover it up. And now, we are a little bit less than 4 hours in to our adventure, and our pumpkin is, for the most part, set.
And although he's going to screw up his words on this part, the gist is, the next part is all about painting.